Hi, welcome to our channel Programming of Mind, where we accelerate your knowledge with concise, from high-value book summaries. Let's begin the art of being a good listener. Why it's more powerful than speaking. One of the most underrated and often overlooked skills in building strong relationships is the ability to listen effectively. In a world where everyone is eager to share their opinions, it's easy to forget the power that comes from simply listening. Listening is not just about hearing words. It's about understanding the feelings, emotions, and intentions behind those words. When we listen attentively, we signal that we care, we value the other person's thoughts, and we are open to learning. By becoming better listeners, we improve our connections, foster trust, and create an environment where meaningful conversations can happen. Real-life example. The importance of listening in a job interview. Imagine walking into a job interview, nervous but eager to make a good impression. You prepare your responses, make sure you have a good handshake, and know the company inside and out. But then the interviewer starts speaking. Instead of focusing on their words, you get caught up in your own thoughts, mentally rehearsing your next answer. As a result, you miss key details in their questions, and when you do speak, your answers seem disconnected from what they were really asking. Now imagine the opposite scenario. In this case, instead of rushing to respond, you actively listen to the interviewer's question, taking a moment to understand not just the words, but the underlying concerns or intentions behind them. You respond thoughtfully, addressing the true question and providing a genuine, tailored answer. The interviewer, noticing your attentiveness, feels respected and valued. As a result, the conversation flows more smoothly, and your chances of landing the job improve significantly. Being a good listener in an interview shows you are engaged, empathetic, and thoughtful. It demonstrates your ability to understand and respond appropriately to others, a key trait that employers look for in potential candidates. Listening, rather than just speaking, gives you the opportunity to engage at a deeper level and build rapport with the interviewer. The power of active listening. Turning words into connection. Active listening goes beyond just hearing what someone says. It involves being fully present in the moment, giving your undivided attention, and showing interest in the speaker's words. One powerful technique for active listening is reflective listening. This involves not just hearing the words, but repeating them back to the speaker, either verbatim or paraphrased, to show that you understand. Consider the example of a father, Robert, who was having a conversation with his teenage daughter, Emily. Emily was upset about a falling out with her best friend, and Robert could sense her frustration. Instead of jumping in with advice or trying to solve the problem immediately, Robert said, "It sounds like you're really hurt by what happened with Sarah. I can understand why that would upset you." By reflecting Emily's feelings, Robert demonstrated that he was actively listening and that he cared about her emotions. This simple act of reflective listening helped Emily feel understood and validated. Instead of feeling dismissed or ignored, she felt heard and supported. This not only strengthened their relationship, but also opened the door for a more productive and open discussion. By actively listening, Robert was able to guide Emily through her emotions without imposing his own solutions, empowering her to find her own way forward. Why people love to talk about themselves. The key to unlocking better conversations, one of the main reasons listening is so important, is that people love to talk about themselves. It's not just a human tendency. It's an ingrained desire to be heard and understood. When you make others feel like their stories, experiences, and opinions matter, you create an environment of trust and connection. Take the example of Sarah, who had been trying to network in a new industry. At a networking event, she met Jim, an industry veteran. Instead of focusing on promoting herself or talking about her own achievements, Sarah took a different approach. She asked Jim about his career journey, his challenges, and his advice for newcomers. Jim, who is used to people asking for favors or trying to sell themselves, was surprised but appreciated Sarah's genuine interest in his experiences. Over the course of the conversation, Jim opened up, shared valuable insights, and even offered to help Sarah with introductions to key people in the industry. By allowing Jim to talk about himself, Sarah established a strong rapport and left a positive impression. Jim felt valued, respected, and listened to, which is often more important than anything you can say. Listening and allowing people to express themselves fosters a sense of connection and trust, opening doors to opportunities that would otherwise remain closed. Listening to understand, not to respond. One of the most common pitfalls in conversations is listening just to respond, rather than listening to understand. This happens when you're so focused on preparing your response that you stop paying attention to what the other person is actually saying. As a result, the conversation becomes a game of one-upmanship, with each person waiting for their turn to speak rather than engaging in a meaningful dialogue. Take the case of Tom, who was having a heated discussion with his friend Lisa about their favorite sports teams. Instead of listening to Lisa's points, Tom was already planning his rebuttal. He didn't take the time to fully understand her viewpoint, and as a result, their conversation quickly spiraled into an argument. Neither of them really heard each other, and both left the conversation frustrated. The key to avoiding this is to focus on listening to understand, not just to respond. When you truly listen, you enter a conversation with an open mind, ready to learn rather than just to win. This approach fosters collaboration, reduces conflict, and creates a deeper connection with the other person. By prioritizing understanding, you create the foundation for a more meaningful, productive, and respectful dialogue. Listening in difficult conversations, in difficult or high-stakes conversations, listening becomes even more crucial. Whether it's a confrontation with a colleague, a sensitive family discussion, or a conversation with a loved one in distress, active listening can make the difference between escalating the situation or resolving it peacefully. Consider a situation where Mark and his business partner, Sarah, had a disagreement over a critical business decision. Sarah had a clear vision, but Mark disagreed and felt that her idea was too risky. Instead of arguing or trying to impose his own viewpoint, Mark took a step back and actively listened to Sarah's reasons. He asked clarifying questions, showing that he wanted to understand her perspective fully. After listening intently, Mark realized that Sarah had considered the risks and had a well-thought-out plan for mitigating them. He had been too focused on the potential negatives and hadn't taken the time to understand the bigger picture. Mark, now better informed, was able to support Sarah's decision, and they moved forward as a team. In difficult conversations, listening doesn't mean agreeing with the other person, but it does mean acknowledging their perspective and showing respect for their ideas. Active listening creates space for empathy, understanding, and collaboration, turning potentially divisive moments into opportunities for growth and problem-solving. The power of nonverbal listening. Listening isn't just about what you say or what you hear. It's also about how you behave. Nonverbal communication plays a huge role in showing that you are fully engaged and present in a conversation. Simple gestures, such as maintaining eye contact, nodding in agreement, and leaning slightly forward, can signal that you are paying attention and valuing the other person's words. Think about the last time you had a conversation with someone who wasn't paying attention to you. Maybe they were distracted by their phone, looking around the room, or not making eye contact. How would that make you feel? Now imagine someone who gives you their full attention, looking you in the eye and reacting to what you're saying. It makes a world of difference. When you actively engage in nonverbal listening, you send a powerful message that you care about the other person's thoughts. It helps build trust, create rapport, and make the other person feel valued. Nonverbal listening reinforces what is being said, making the conversation richer and more meaningful. Conclusion: listening as the key to stronger relationships in any relationship, whether personal or professional. Being a good listener is one of the most important skills you could develop. It's a powerful tool for building trust, fostering understanding, and creating a sense of connection. By actively listening, you show others that you value their thoughts and emotions, which strengthens your bond with them. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding feelings, acknowledging perspectives, and building bridges between people. Whether you're in a job interview, a tough conversation, or a simple exchange with a friend, the ability to listen thoughtfully will set you apart. As you improve your listening skills, you'll find that your relationships become deeper, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. Listening is not just a skill. It's an art, and mastering it can unlock doors to new opportunities, stronger connections, and greater success in every area of life. Thank you for listening, and please like the video and subscribe for more great upcoming content that will put you in top 1% people in the world.